Superhero.
Sir, Chairman, that's you, bro.
That's you. You was making history yesterday.
Man, just trying to do the people's work, bro. You know, I sent you those that video of those insurrectionists and protesters, and it blew up the next day to something else, man. It was wild.
Well, you smelled it. So I want everyone to know exactly who you are. This is Congressman Andre Carson from Indiana. And
I represent Indianapolis.
I'm sorry, I'm bugging.
No. I'm from Indiana.
Right.
All day, every day.
Got it. Indianapolis.
Specifically, I represent the 7th Congressional District, which is Indianapolis.
My bad. Indianapolis. Senator Eddie Milton is in it. Yeah, my bad. And you know, what I want people to know about you is, you know, I met you at the Black Caucus. A friend of mine brought me through, and you actually taught me a lot about, you know, law passing and politics. And after meeting with you, I really had a sense that the Black Caucus was really in there fighting for us. And, you know, understanding what an uphill battle it was. And also, I was very appreciative of the fact that you know, had my son with me, and you offered to give him an internship on site. And it was like, culturally, that's the way.
Stands.
And I appreciate it. Get him, please. Please get him. I'm going to call him. Actually, I'm going to call him and tell him. You need to go down there. Not maybe when things clear out, when all the wild white people are gone. You know what I'm saying? So, and, you know, for me, you know, and then, you know, again, you're the congressman. You got elected again, reelected, right? Uncontested, right? Is that what happened?
Well, I always have opposition, but we won. So thankfully, we won.
So you beat him bad. You beat him bad, and you know you're proud of who you are. You keep your mustache. You're a straight shooter with me. But you know, again, you're fighting for the culture, but you're also fighting for the American people. And yesterday, to me, an historic event happened. You know, they basically rushed the building, and you were in the building, right, when all this was happening.
Yeah.
So I wanted people to hear your story, because they never showcase our black congressmen, the ones that are really in there fighting for us, our superheroes, and I consider you a superhero, you know, unacknowledged. And I think everyone, your name should be like a name that they talk about just like a rapper or something like that, but you're doing more. You understand what I'm saying? But maybe that's just me.
Vision for that, man.
Maybe that's just
me. I
me.
had a conversation with somebody that we'll talk about offline. That you know, and they said, I don't like that these politicians are becoming celebrities now. And I said, that's different from Dame's view, because you're saying that public servants and activists should get more attention. That's an interesting viewpoint.
Well, the reason why is, number one, just for people that don't know, it's a point of reference. So if you look at the Republicans, the president, if you weren't a billionaire, you either had to be an actor or on a reality show. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and that's what it is. It's either celebrity or you have to have $1 billion behind you. And if you're a billionaire, it's hard to really understand how a person that's not even a millionaire is living. You don't even understand that. So, you know, again, I do think it's important that especially our black heroes, they definitely have to be celebrities, because it feels like they make it where y'all not celebrities. Y'all not the ones that they talk about. And I know for a fact, you know, you fought homeboy tooth and nail, bumped him in the hallway, you know, grilled him on the depositions. It's you. But I don't hear, you know what I mean? I'm like, and they don't know it's one of us that's in there fighting and that's actually listening to us and trying to apply, you know, even with all the politics and all the things you have to go through to get a law passed. You know, even understanding what passing a law even means, you know?
I appreciate that. You know, there are a total of us, if you include the Senate, 535 of us. So you kind of have to fight to have your voice heard. Because I'm currently on the Intel Committee in Transportation, the nature of the work on Intel is very secretive. So I can't talk about a lot, so that kind of hurts my profile. People say, well, why did you choose to get on Intel? Because I think it's important that we have the right people in these positions to oversee our taxpayer dollars, whether it's the CIA, the FBI, Department of Homeland Security. We hear about them spying on U.S. citizens, but if you don't have people who have a reference point, who can see what they're doing and ask the right questions in these meetings, then I think we've lost our stake in this game called politics and a democracy, quite frankly. I really do. I really do. But, your vision, Dame, I think is so important because you work with the OSG network. Not only are you an icon and a legend in the Black community, but globally in the fashion world, in the film world, in the music world, in the racing world. I mean, the fact that we don't give you your flowers, man, I think it does us a disservice. But whenever they film the Dame movie, man, they gotta hire me as a consultant, bro.
I can dig it. I appreciate that. Well, I look at myself like Batman. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna help the people, but sometimes the people can't really overtly acknowledge I can't move around like I want to. I get to do the dirty work. I don't have to be politically correct. I can say what I want to say because, I govern myself as it relates to my personal life and my economic welfare. And a lot of people have to worry about that. I just don't. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that. And trust me, I smell the flowers. I do, because the fact that people like you take me serious, that we can have conversations candidly, and, the fact that I know that there is, a lot of people would think, oh, if you're into politics or government, you're controlled, you're not one of us, you're part of the system. And I can honestly say I don't believe that in you at all. You know what I'm saying? If really you listen to what we say, and then I see you go and apply and fight for those things, even, articulate it to the people that aren't listening or haven't heard. I wanted to rewind again to the historic moment yesterday. What was it like yesterday? Talk me through that. Because I've been in situations where I'm like, wow, this is like a movie, and it's a nightmare sometimes, or a horror flick, or a comedy. But that right there, what movie was that?
The Purge, Night of the Living Dead, or a music video, Night of the Living Bassheads, because I had a similar experience, much smaller, in 2010 during the healthcare debate. And I can remember leaving. I was in the Cannon building. I was about to go vote, and I saw John Lewis, the late John Lewis, who you and Boogie have a picture with.
You gave me the honor of, you introduced me to him, made sure I had a picture with him. You introduced me to everybody in the Black Caucus, bro, and I appreciate it. And Joe Biden was talking when we walked through, remember?
That's right. And then you've done the same for me, and I appreciate it. I was walking across the street with John Lewis. There were thousands of people calling us the N-word, talking out of pocket, and I chuckled, and I looked at John. He said, "This reminds me of a darker time." And I laughed because I'm like, there's so many camera phones out here. These dudes are busted. We go into the Capitol. Other CBC members, Black Caucus members, come in. Maxine Waters, Emmanuel Cleaver, and others having a similar story. We decided to come together and walk back out after the healthcare vote as a unit, and these people were still hurling this. John Lewis and I were accused of lying. We were accused of being racist. And these folks were then the Tea Partiers. Now they're known as Trumpers, a lot of them. And so yesterday, when it happened, I had just left the office of the new chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Joyce Beatty, and to come into my office because I got to work early to get on a Black Caucus Zoom. And I saw a Capitol Police officer, and he said, "You're going to have to stay in your office." And once I started getting security alerts, I saw it was real. I turned on the TV, and I was just in communication with everybody. But I had sent you a video the day before of a smaller protest, but you kind of got the sentiment and the feel.
It was on.
You
said it. You said it's about to get cracking. Send some cameras down here. I was like, man, it's COVID.
You got Rocky and Baby Dusko to worry about right now.
We had to go down there with the Army because the Army wasn't coming too fast yesterday.
And the Army was slipping. So we're currently calling, or many of us are calling on an investigation in the Capitol Police officer. The sergeant at arms, who is over security for the Capitol, has submitted his resignation.
I saw that. Pelosi was like, I need both of y'all resignations.
Well, we want them to pull all the cameras, Dave. We want them to pull all the cameras, investigate any empathizers or sympathizers or anybody who helped get these insurgents or insurrectionists into the Capitol complex.
Well, you know what it told me watching all of those white people running around like it was legal? That they're used to doing whatever they want and being treated a certain way. And there was a certain entitlement there, like someone black is born into being scared to go even that's why black people don't really be setting on white people. They just know that that's untouchable. And they didn't have masks on, even though it was COVID. It was like they wanted to be seen. They wanted their picture taken. They really thought there would be no recourse, and they could just walk in and walk out. And, they had no fear for their life. Like, we have fear for our life when we get pulled over and aren't doing anything wrong. They don't have fear for their life. They were like swinging on cops. And, I thought one or two things. This is way too flagrant. Because I was like, when they going to tear gas them or water them down or something, like, what's going to happen? Where the rubber bullets? Because I know that's what we got when we came outside. Not to say me, because I'm not going to act like I was on the front line. But, for those of us that were on the front line without attacking a building, you were in the park, you was catching a rubber bullet. So I'm thinking, is this done on purpose? And when I say on purpose, like, everybody just Martin Luther King and let the abuse happen so everyone can see, so it's undeniable, so that there's proof of concept. I mean, like fueling a fire like this, everything we said that, we suspected was an issue that we couldn't really catch, even though we had people on tape. The other end of it, right after, it was just too obvious, and the other thing that I was thinking, like, number one, if it wasn't just to set up to showcase it, then, did homies set this up and tell them, yo, I'm gonna have my peoples come through, don't hit them hard, because they were too confident in there, And then I started thinking, remember we talk, and I'd be like, I don't think he's gonna win because his whole crew is in jail, and that's the crew that knows how to cheat really well, right? You notice as soon as he got in his real trouble, he called his crew that helps him cheat to come out and put him in the Oval Office. So I'm like, he must have just got his crew together to just cheat, because they're the ones that go kamikaze. And I'm thinking they made it. I heard the Proud Boy was in the White House. They gave him a tour. They might have known. They just knew too much. But I'm really curious to see what gets uncovered. And I see the feds are investigating. It was almost like they set him up so that they could catch him. Entrapment almost. You know what I mean?
That's a deep point. So one of the things that we hope to do when we reconvene as an intel committee is to get answers from law enforcement agencies. We know when it comes to Black Lives Matter, they have state police and local police with an undercover task force amongst protesters, amongst us, getting information, looking at DMs on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, combing through DMs, trying to see whereabouts. We want that same kind of passion and concentration directed to white supremacists and white nationalists. How many undercover folks were amongst those insurrectionists? What kind of intelligence did they have ahead of time? And why all of a sudden was security so lax at the Capitol complex? And why did it take so long for the Metro Police Department to come? When I came on campus today, there were hundreds, it looked like, of National Guard folks out on the campus setting up equipment. Where were they yesterday?
Exactly.
Now we're seeing the resurrection of the Secretary of Education from the Trump administration, and Facebook has banned him, Twitter has banned him, all these social media platforms who are responsible for his ascent and rise in the first place.
Well,
that's 2 weeks out.
That's business.
You want to get bold.
But that's the nature of business, and I think it showcases how much business it is. When you rolling, they with you. As soon, and they'll ride with you, and if you're gonna help them, they'll be there for you. But the minute they don't need you no more, they out. So they juiced them, they got what they needed, and they gone. And he's harmless. He only got 2 more weeks. So like, I can understand, in a year he can let, it's not with so much damage he can do right now, and he's hot. Now let me ask you this: a lot of people are kicking around this 25th Amendment. They're very scared of what he's gonna do in the next 2 weeks. The way he hasn't had the Pentagon not cooperating, and everything he's doing is very scary for us because our guards are down. And also, I find it interesting that he actually has done a trick that they've done on us. He got them fighting each other. You got Republicans fighting Republicans. It was a different Mitch McConnell yesterday, a different Pence. He was mad at Trump. I've never seen him mad at anything. You understand what I'm saying? So it was like, I'm almost like, you can't be mad at him. He gave us the House. He gave us the Senate. He gave us Georgia. We got the Congress for 4 years of him bluffing and pump faking. We got we should be able to hold Iraq for the next 24 years. We got a black vice president, woman. A lot of good came from this bad. We just got to get through the bad, you know?
A lot.
So I just like to focus on that.
The challenge is that...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, the challenge is that when you have all three houses, whether it's the Republicans that have all three houses, the White House, and both chambers in Congress, or the Democrats, you typically have about 2 years to get things done, because what happens is that the people get tired of one party having both spots or both branches of government. And so even with Obama, when we had all three houses, President Obama wanted to push through health care. There were a lot of people who felt like that was the wrong move. I think health care is important. We should have tackled infrastructure first. And so what Biden is doing, it seems to be, is that he wants to tackle infrastructure. We have over 15,000 roads and bridges that have to be rebuilt in this country. And if we get a bill to push it through, it's going to create millions of jobs for the next 15 to 20 years. And that means repaving our roads and bridges. It also means as vehicles get smarter, Dane, General Motors said in the next 10 years, their entire fleet will be all electric. So that tells me in the next 15 to 20 years, all of our vehicles are going to be driverless and operated by artificial intelligence. So as we're building smarter vehicles, that means we're going to have to build smarter roads that can communicate with vehicles so we can reduce the number of fatalities. And so an infrastructure bill is critically important right now for the Biden administration in the first 2 years.
So what about this 25th Amendment thing? What are we going to do in the next 2 weeks? Are they going to, y'all going to, I'm hearing he might get, if they don't 25th Amendment him, they're going to impeach him. What do you think is warranted in this situation?
I'm supportive of it. I'm supportive of it. I signed on to it. The challenge is that we recessed earlier today. So we don't come back until the 19th and 20th, and that's the day that Biden gets sworn in. So symbolically, it has weight. Unless they call a special session of Congress, most of us have gone back to our districts. A lot of people have families. They have small children. They're taking care of their parents. It's going to take a lot to get 435 members back to D.C. for this impeachment process. And we saw what happened a year ago and 2 years ago, how difficult it was to pursue impeachment.
But the Senate was Republican, though. It was like, that's why.
That's very true.
The Senate's a Democrat. It should be like, boop, boop, boop. I figure y'all would make a law to put this dude in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's done so much.
Well, there are a lot of Democrats who fortunately or unfortunately, don't have an appetite for another impeachment hearing, at least while he's president. There are many who want to pursue charges against him after he's president because they think it'll be much easier.
Right.
But since we're only 2 weeks out, they figure by the time we come back, it's time to hit the reset button. New president, who this, and let's get busy.
Well, if there is that red button that he can press from the office, I would tape that up, or hide it from him or something, because it just feels like he'll do anything. And I feel like anyone that supports him right now, just because people died, people died. And he was the dude, I watched the speech, I couldn't believe. He said, and this is where he lied right there. He said, I'm a march with you. I'll be right there with you. He wasn't. But he did tell him to go to that building, and
he did. It's an act of sedition, I think. I think it's treasonous. I think it's an act of sedition, all which are punishable. So Congress has to deal with this act of sedition, but we have to have cooperation even amongst people in the party to get it done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the founding fathers, we know they were racist, Dane. We know that they held slaves. We know that they were sexist. They were complicated. They did have some vision, and when they installed the 25th Amendment, it was to establish that the president, he or she, is unfit to serve as commander-in-chief. And I think he's proven that from day one.
Over and over and over again. Look at over and over and over again. It's just, I feel like the people that were scared of him and that were moving for him.
Queen Rocky.
Oh yeah, it is Rocky.
Queen Rocky.
He was held up. Yeah, he was up in the building yesterday, right?
I know. Damon showed me the video. It was pretty intense with the kind of the voice box talking to you. It was scary.
Yes, that was. Did he show you the other video of the protesters before it blew up?
Oh no, he showed.
Oh,
the
no.
day before.
But David was glued to the TV, like with popcorn and everything. He was watching it, like just super entertained.
And I was like, I couldn't believe that they were showing their ass like that. You know, I was like, this is gonna make it so much easy for us to prove our point. It's right there. It was historically, like, entitlement. That was the most historical entitlement I've ever seen. And I was glad that it was exposed.
Absolutely.
You know, and I felt bad for the people that got killed. Because there's blood on Donald Trump's head. People are dead because they were fighting a fight that he's not fighting. He sent them to do something that he wouldn't do himself, and people died. And he conceded, right?
Well, he did. He's promising a peaceful transition of power, but I think he's proven himself to be an incapable leader and a poor leader. Now, Dame, I know this is recording, but Rocky, Dame has a project he said you could help me with. He'll brief you on it.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I got you.
All right.
You know I got you.
All right.
You got you. Get you right for when you're the president. So when you running, Congress? What's next?
You know,
because I honestly would like, I want the people to really, because if it's because of me and because of me only, I'm like, listen, watch Congressman Andre Carson. Watch him.
I appreciate it.
I want to be able to say, look, I told y'all. Even in politics, I tell y'all. I already know when someone's going to be making a certain kind of move, and you making those moves. So what's next? What could?
I appreciate it.
And also in Atlanta, what I saw about Georgia was hip hop was very important. It was, it really, I'm very proud because I thought North Carolina, we might have a chance. I wasn't even expecting Georgia, but I think culturally, and, I think we really showed up.
Hip hop showed up in a major way, man. I love those brothers and sisters down south and in Georgia, man, and even in Houston with Scarface and Willie D running.
Yeah,
I just love that. Do you think the same thing could happen in politics with our brothers and sisters in New York?
Absolutely. I think once people you see how I'm so entertained by it? It's more entertaining than music for me. And also when you can help, it evolves you. We need another hustle, something more to entertain us. They never taught us about politics because they knew we'd get good at it. It's like a black person learning golf, you're going to get Tiger Woods. A black person learns tennis, you're going to get the sisters, Venus in them. Lacrosse, hockey.
That's a great point.
That's just how I see it.
When they started getting good at it, they created the poll tax.
I mean, look at Obama.
Come to the poll and check how many apples were in a basket.
Exactly. But look how good Obama did it. He's the most eloquent president that ever did it.
Absolutely.
Cool, he did it right. Like that's, especially with this dude, coming right after, it was like, look what compare the two. I feel like, his example as a black man being a president and then this white man being the president, somebody got something to prove and it ain't us right now. You understand what I'm saying?
Do you think that Trump has done such a bad job that even people who had racist inclinations would be okay with a Kamala Harris as president or even another black man as president? Is it beyond that now?
After yesterday, yes.
Okay.
After yesterday, if you still all right with homie, then you got to really check yourself out, bro. Because I know when they saw them people running in there, the people that were supporting him were like, yo, I'm in here and he's not. He has Secret Service and I don't. I'm in here for him. He don't give a fuck about me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I saw it in their faces. It was like, let's say a black guy comes around that's from a bad neighborhood, and you're like, I don't want him in this circle. He's gonna bring his friends. And it was like they let, and I'm not to me, I'm not a prejudiced guy. There's white people and there's white trash. It was like he was like, let everything bad about any white racist person in to an environment that was not used to dealing with things so overtly because they have something to lose where those people obviously didn't have something to lose. Like none of those looters, I'm calling them looters, rioters, whatever you criminals, none of them look like they had money. They was old. They had beards, gray beards. They was running around looking raggedy. They was looking crazy. Like that was the most exciting party they'd been to since high school. It looked like it was the only place that they felt important, where anyone would listen. They were high-fiving. They're like 75, high-fiving dumb shit. You understand? It was crazy. Breaking cameras and stupid shit. I was like, when they get in there, what are they going to do? And all they did was take pictures. These are adults.
Right.
Like, it's not like they
now,
were...
Go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
You're a brand guru. You're a brand guru, a marketing genius. What do you think about those politicians who are rocking with him every photo op at the White House turning up? Are some of them going to have to rebrand themselves going forward on their re-election efforts in 2 years?
What's Ted Cruz going to do? They're done, bro. I think they should be finished. Accountability. What is Ted Cruz going to do? You know what I'm saying?
Does the Republican Party have to rebrand totally after this? Have they destroyed their brand?
Yo, the thing is, they bent the knee to him. So they showed they have no backbone because they didn't like him in the beginning. They just had to do what they had to do. And once they they really showed that all you got to do is have a certain amount of power, and they have to show that there's a man. I wouldn't respect, I'd be laughing at anybody that supported him and took him serious. The death part of it is where he's cooked. Once the girl got shot, done. There's no gray area. People getting killed over this man.
Strategy for running against a Ted Cruz or somebody like him? Would you bring up photo ops that he had with Donald Trump in your commercials?
All day, every day. All day, every day. What I would really bring up is him contesting being the first senator, and they clapping, and he was all proud in that funny aqua suit, and I don't like the way he dresses. Yes, all of it, from the beard, without the beard, from him dissing Trump and then kissing his ass, and and I bet you, because even Chris Christie, right, the dude from Jersey, that's his name, right? See, I knew it was over when he jumped ship. After he got sick, he wasn't fucking with Trump no more. He was like, that's my man, we argue, but I'm not with that. He already knew, because I know he's going to still try to run. I'm thinking, did they ever think he had a chance in winning or taking it back? Like, why even support that? Like, he's not going to be the president in 2 weeks. What are you scared of? Does he have pictures of you? I didn't know what would be the reason that people would go and jump out the window for that. But what are they going to do? They're the laughing stock. They're walking around like this. Like, at least, if y'all not teasing them, I will.
What can we as politicians learn from creatives and vice versa? Are we too restricted? Might we take cues from creatives?
Well, what you have to understand about people that aren't in a certain place, creative is an outlet for them. So to understand the people, you have to be creative. You have to be creative. So even with my children or anyone I'm around, I'm like, you have to be creative, because then you'll care about culture. Culture is creative. There's people that only care about the dollar. Those are the people that can't dress, can't dance, and are not inspired or even affected by culture. Or else you could tell by the way they dress, by the way they dance, by the way that the music they listen to. That means they've been around the people. That means they're loving what the people love. But in order to understand the creative, you kind of have to be creative. You have to then you'll respect. It's about a respect for a creative. It's almost like how someone that comes from a place of privilege, that have never felt racism, never been broke. It's kind of hard to fight for someone broke if you've never been broke. You don't really know what offends a broke person, or what bothers a broke person, or the subtle details of being, a victim of systemic racism. A lot of women, Rocky's mom is Puerto Rican. And, she was explaining to me what it was to be Puerto Rican back in the day. How entitled another culture was, like, you're lucky to be here. And how she felt she had to protect Rocky a certain way just so that she didn't have to feel the same pain.
Wow.
And that's not an emotion. Like I was explaining to Rocky, like, you don't know how it feels because you've never been in a place where somebody looked down on you because of your color. You don't know what that feels like to be around a bunch of people and really not be the richest person in the room and everyone reminding you of that. You know, it put you in a real insecure place and a real place of resentment and fear. You know what I mean? So unless you've experienced racism, experienced being broke, experienced being oppressed, it's hard to understand what and how to help somebody, what kind of therapy they need, even if you want to give it to them. So I think being creative, it gives you that experience on certain levels, because you have to be one. Like, also when you're creative, it equalizes you. If you're good at the guitar, it don't matter how rich that person is. Like, I'm rich and I'm good at guitar, and this person's broke and good at guitar. Our connection is that guitar. My respect is I can't buy those skills. You understand what I'm saying? So being a creative, it's most important, especially if you're going to really be, you know, you have to be, I think there's a balance always. But being swaggy means you relate to swaggy people.
So what can creatives learn from elected officials, or the right ones?
I think creatives only do what they like. So if you can put this in a way that they like it, then they will be a part of it. And that's why I'm explaining, like, yo, I actually like this. I'd rather listen to this poor beef than rap beef. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because it's real, it's televised. People are playing a big game, you know? Mm-hmm. So just watching how things unfold. And again, it was like, I was just talking to Nicolette, like, damn, I wish I would have bet on everything. Because I was like, yo, we're going to have a black president or vice president. We're going to get the Senate, and we're going to get a state that we usually don't get. I thought it was North Carolina. I would have won.
A year ago, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm not scared of him no more. This whole crew is gone. Y'all, he just going to be. And then I even said this. What's going to be interesting is what he does when he loses. I didn't know he was going to go this hand. But again, once somebody dies, it's no more fun and games. You know, once somebody's daughter is taken, or somebody's mother, and this person was someone that was, I think, in the Marines or something, someone that fought for the country. Died like that, jumping through a window, like, that's crazy. You know? To where her parents or whoever's around her was like, they hurt, but they not even like mad at nobody. I can't believe she did that. For this dude,
it's a lesson learned.
That's a tough lesson.
I've asked you this before. Do you think that we'll go back to electing traditional politicians who've been in the system as president, or we as Americans, will we still experiment and put another business person in there? Will it be a Dame Dash? Will it be somebody from Silicon Valley type of person? What do you think?
I think that if you don't have the ability to run the country, they're not going to hire you. You know? So just because someone's popular now.
Just because you're a successful business person.
Right. I think you can be a successful business person, but you have to come with a proper plan. Like, I feel like, you know, homeboy got hired or voted for, or he won because he was loud. Because he never had a plan. That's what they liked about him. Because he yelled at people that aren't used to being yelled at. You know, that's not like, you can like somebody, but you don't let someone fly a plane just because you like them, but they've never flown a plane or don't know how. You know, this is our lives at stake. So I think people, another thing that homeboy did that I like is he made us come out and vote. You know, like people that didn't vote was like, look, I don't vote, but I'm voting because we don't want to hear his mouth at all anymore. The thing that I didn't like about him the most, it just felt like racism was winning. And they were just pouting it around and so happy. And they were in the White House and all that. Like, we're here, you know. And that's what I didn't like. The na-na-na-na-na factor. I didn't like that. I didn't like that air of invincibility or to look down, like, how dare you talk to me and this type of thing. I didn't like to disrespect the women, to culture. I just didn't like the tone. You understand what I mean? So, again, my politics with me and my world, I'm a fight for no one's going to control really my destiny but me. You know, but I do care about culture in the world. And what I have to hear all the time. I don't want to hear him no more. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear about him. I don't want to be worried about it. Unless it's the recourse or the repercussions, just because they need to see what it is. He had a 4-year run. You know, like in the street, someone might be getting money for 4 years and they got to go to jail for 50. It ain't worth it. Right. So to me, he caught a 4-year lick. Didn't do too much but bother people. He had fun. He was in the White House. I don't think it's going to be what's going to happen to his legacy, the rest of his life. It ain't going to be worth it. And I think people should know that. You know, he was moving like a
He
criminal.
destroyed the Trump brand. He's destroyed the Republican brand.
Well, he's reinvented the Trump brand. You know, it went from aspirational to racist. So yeah, if you're a racist, you're gonna go and you're gonna buy his $5 app, and you want to hear his propaganda. He has a different legacy now. So before he was known as a rich guy, now he's gonna be known as Hitler. You know, he's gonna be known on like David Duke or one of them. You know what I mean? A hero of people that like Confederate flags. Like the dude walked in the joint with a Confederate flag. It was crazy. And it'd be crazy to me when I see like black people for Trump. Like, you right next to a Confederate flag. I don't understand. Like, you just don't like being black. Like, I don't get it. There has to be some pride in that.
Right.
Just because of what our people went through. Not us, but the people that aren't here anymore went through. We got to make sure that we shine because they felt the pain. If they felt the pain and fought and we not here shining, then they did it for nothing. And I'm never going to let that happen. You know? I know me personally, the lane that was fought for, I definitely went and did it to death and doing it. I know what I never had to sit at the back of a bus. You know, I've never had to deal with the racism that I've heard or see somebody swing from a noose or somebody I love get hung. I've never had to fathom that. And my appreciation for that is me living freely, doing what I want and knowing who I am and my power and also passing it, you know, and empowering our culture. A lot of us aren't woke. We're still scared because of those patterns. But guys like you that aren't scared of the unknown went inside the house and fought inside the house. No security. And even when they ran up in there, you wasn't worried. You was playing. You know, you was concerned, but you wasn't really like, you was cool. You know what I mean? You making history. You passing laws. You fighting. A lot of people scared to even just do that. And that's the fearlessness that I want to give our culture. That's what I think, you know.
Will we see more from the hip-hop community actually run for public office? Is that a good thing? I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think if someone really wants to do it, I know Do It All is running for city council. I think that people should know what it takes to do this job. You know, it's not just like, you know, pictures. It's what happens offline. And you know, how, you know, you can't, see, the thing about a creative is they like to do things when they feel like it. You know, that's why I didn't think it would be a good idea for Homeboy to run. Because I'm like, what are you going to do when you don't feel like doing nothing? You still got to work. You know what I mean? You can't just not work. And it's tireless. You're moving all the time, all day, every day. And you're not allowed to flex too much. Like, you can't really even enjoy it because you have to lead by example. So it's a very humbling lifestyle. You're working hard and you're not financially getting everything that everyone else would get that works that hard because you're doing it for the people. There's a bigger agenda. So, you know, I believe that in hip hop, if somebody really finds that they love people enough to fight for them and they have a celebrity that they can leverage and the discipline and understand what it takes day to day and really wants to do it to help, not just to say they did it, absolutely. But it's just like I'm saying, just because you rich and famous and you want to fly this plane, I ain't getting on that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, kill yourself if you want. You know, but, you know, this is how important this is. So, yeah, if someone wants to take the time and learn like a do-it-all, I really believe that do-it-all wants to help. Because even when he's not running, he's helping. You know what I mean? So if somebody is like, yo, I just want to run, and I never seen him do nothing, I got to see something. You know? It's like the commission. Like, honestly, if nothing comes of it, just talking to y'all, it makes me better. But I do believe that every time we talk, other people help or get help. And also, we're good at identifying phonies and also exposing phonies in a very legal way. You know, because I have no politics. You know, I can do what I want. You know what I mean? And all I want to do is help. You know? So, yeah. I think
when politicians flex, man, the alphabet boys come out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, let me ask you this last question. So, it's pretty clear who the Proud Boys are and who these, you know, people that really will break the law because they don't agree with them and hurt people. I feel like they should be extra hot right now. Extra hot. Like, homie got locked up burning the flag and he had some artillery and all that. What's going to happen with these groups? Because I feel like they're weak and it would be easy to dismantle. You know, you were telling me about the investigations and all that, but honestly, some people need to be targeted because they've made it clear who their targets are. And I'm not gonna just let a Proud Boy knock on my door. I'm protecting myself off top. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing about I think what makes the Proud Boys so difficult, and we're going to have some hearings to uncover it, is unlike the Ku Klux Klan, where even though they wore sheets, but they still blended into society, Proud Boys seem to not be as pronounced in terms of their look. They look like guys that you and I would mingle with, that appear to have swag, that appear to like the music we like, and have same cultural references and understand jokes, but they're on to this ideology of white supremacy and white privilege. They can appreciate black culture for pleasure, but when it comes to black excellence and black people rising in positions of influence or economic development, they still support the institutions of white supremacy and the ideology of white nationalism.
So basically,
but
black people are good if you have a leash on them. Sorry, go ahead.
Precisely. No, that's it. That's it right there. So I think what these hearings can do is at least uncover, because they seem to be fluid right now. And I see a lot of them on online platforms. A lot of them are in the manosphere, in the red pill community, and we have a lot of friends in that community. But I think these hearings could probably identify, at least for the American people, because they're decentralized. So they're not meeting necessarily in buildings like that officially or formally. They're kind of convalescing online in the smaller groups and coffee houses and that kind of thing. So we want to uncover more with these hearings in the future.
That's dope. Well, Congressman, as always, every time I talk to you, I learn something. I appreciate the access and, how clear you've made things for me as it relates to politics and governing. And, again, I always thank you for, inviting my family and just introducing me to everybody. Like, when I watch television and see historic things, I'm like, oh, Congressman introduced me to him. You introduced me to Senator Eddie Milton, and I just don't feel like it has to be so much division and fighting. No one has to control anybody. Everyone just do their own thing. You know what I mean? And work together. That's how I see it. And, I'm hoping that because we're in such a power, and I see Democrats be way more eloquent about shit, at least, up front, that it'll be like, let's get together and work together. But y'all can't be cheating. You see what happens when y'all start cheating, we take everything. So there should be some humbleness for the next 4 years. They gave it out heavy. I know we take the high road often, but if they're going to be humble, then, throw them an olive branch, but make them work right. You know what I mean? And anything I can do to help, you already know I'm there. I'm looking forward to pause the Black Caucus. Everybody, oh, you took the vaccine too, right?
I did. I'm taking the second part tomorrow, man. I appreciate you for representing. I can't wait to see you take it. So we're trying to encourage the government and states to get more supplies rapidly. Trump dropped the ball on it, but we want to make sure the Dash household is protected, as well as the Carson household and other households.
Well, let me ask you this before you leave. That's black people in general, the general consensus is I ain't taking it. And it almost seems crazy to me because it hurts the black people the most. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I was a white supremacist, I would be the one to put out that the medicine hurts black people so they don't take it so they could die. That's how I'd look at it. And usually secrets and conspiracy theories, the real ones, people don't talk about them. They're real ones. They're secrets. So I believe that it's almost like this misinformation has been given. But I do respect anyone for any choice they make, but I'm diabetic, and I can't play those games. And, I'm already modern medicine. I got to take insulin every day, and I know that, what happens is when you sick, you'll take anything to be better. You don't ask who made it, whatever. That's going to make me feel better. Give it to me. I don't want to wait till I'm sick to be in that situation where I'm so humble that I got to take it, So if I see you take it, I see doctor take it. Dr. Pennell took it first. The president took it, and I'm pretty sure. I'm hoping it's the same shit, So I'm gonna take what y'all take. I'm gonna get on your plane if you fly it, because you ain't gonna crash yourself if you know how to fly,
Right.
So you took it. So yeah, I'm just being honest.
So we thank you. Thank you. So, we rightfully have suspicions as it relates to the medical community from the Tuskegee experiment and so many experiments.
Yeah.
So we're rightly suspicious. I do think, to your point, when I see Dr. Purnell take it and the president and other people, it's encouraging. But also, there is a deliberate attempt to spread misinformation, one, from white supremacists, but also from Russians and from the Chinese, because the more we're divided, especially medically, because if you notice, the Chinese, they haven't dealt with COVID the way we've dealt with it. So it's to their advantage that COVID is pervasive, because not only does it hurt Americans, it cripples our economy. I'm not saying all Chinese, I'm just saying the operatives who seek to sow division amongst Americans.
That there's that in every state and country. There's the person that wants division, and I get it. So that's why I'm like, again, it'll be like, yo, if you're going to give the vaccine to doctors first, we all messed up. If they all die, the doctors is all going to be dead. They took it first. Ain't going to be no more government. Ain't going to be no more doctors. I just don't think someone wants to disrupt the world that bad. You know what I mean? But either way, and again, I'm not, I'm not judging people for not, but if you're around people, it's very selfish, because you could get sick and deal with it, but you could pass to someone that can't. So like, I'm referencing Nicolette. She had Corona Light. She just had the sniffles. But I have other friends that had Corona Dark, and their feet was made out of glass. They had to be in the ICU. They felt they were going to die. I don't want to see the light and then come back. I don't want to even go through none of that.
I know that's right. Yep.
And I got a secondary. I'm diabetic. So, again, so when you took it, did it make you feel any way? And your face, everyone's scared your shit going to get twisted up?
I will say, as somebody who doesn't get enough sleep, I did feel tired, like I had mono.
Right.
I don't know if that was connected to the shot or if it was because I don't have enough sleep, but I did feel tired, and that's the extent of it. I know other people have had some issues. There have been talk of people getting Bell's palsy, but for me, I felt a bit fatigued.
Yeah. Only thing is, as soon as there was COVID, there was already conspiracy about the vaccine. No one even made it yet.
I know it.
The date, they already had Bill Gates with the vaccine and all of that before. So there are people that are in the business of conspiracy. It's Donald Trump, Newsmax. They're in the business of fuckery. So you got something like this is, it's a conspiracy heaven. You know what I mean? Just like COVID. There's, is it true that Donald Trump signed something saying they're going to make everybody show about the UFOs? They're going to reveal all that? Was that true? I saw that on the internet. I wanted that one to be true.
No. Well, a lot of us do. But again, like on the Intel committee, there are things that I can request. My hope is that there's transparency, if this is the case, to be able to see it. But we'll see what happens.
Oh, you seen any Anunnakis running around? Any tall whiteys? Anybody?
Oh, bro, I'm looking for it, man. I'm looking for it. I think sometimes
reptilians.
It's not the reptilians or Anunnakis. It's a lot of it is maybe a lot of it may be drones, our government or foreign government playing in our airspace, playing head games, with some pretty cool looking aerial vehicles.
Well, back in the day, Reagan had something called Project Blue Light. Remember that one? To unify the world. They wanted to make, scare everybody up so we could unify. So definitely, the world is full of tricks, man.
But Reagan had the Star Wars thing too.
Huh?
Yeah.
Reagan what?
So, Reagan had the Star Wars initiative too. He was trying to get off the ground, but maybe I'm out of the loop. But I will say that there is a race for space.
Definitely.
Elon Musk has already said that Mars doesn't belong to anybody. He wants to colonize Mars and be the first. And then there's another argument. Do I believe that there are aliens out there? Without question.
100%.
How close they are?
They're in the moon. They're in the moon. They're in the moon.
Just tell us that.
You saw
Absolutely.
You saw how upset them astronauts was when they first came back. They wasn't partying. They were scared, and then they never went back.
I mean, we can look at the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, and maybe we'll find something there. But I will say there are people who say, well, there are over 4,000 satellites rotating around the Earth right now as we speak. And most of them have cameras. Then why haven't they noticed anything coming into our Earth's atmosphere are exiting. There's that school of thought. And then some people say that if you have 3 people, only one can keep a secret, let alone thousands of people keeping a secret.
True.
So wrestling through all of that, it still causes me to ask important questions, though, brother. So with you, I have a curious mind, and we'll see, man.
You know, it's like infinity, the possibilities.
Do you think? Let me ask you: do you think if it were the case that there's life on one of the planets in our solar system or one of the moons in our solar system, that people at this point can handle it, or will there be mass pandemonium?
I think if we make it normal, it'll be normal. If we make it crazy, it'll be crazy. If it's our normal, like I have a son that doesn't know about Martians. If he's born thinking that's normal, and you know they're unknown, you know what I mean. So if they come through trying to tear shit up, which they could if they wanted to already, then it would have happened. But once we know they're peaceful and everything's cool, people are just genuinely scared of the unknown. And, we've been programmed to be scared of things that, we're not used to. But I think if it got normalized, even the way they're just gradually starting to normalize it, you know what I mean? I think people would be ready to accept it. I think people would rather see Martians, some people, come down on Earth than to see black people in control.
The Martians may be black, right?
Yeah. And, I was talking to because this dude that is into that, and he's white, and I'm like, you still racist? How come there ain't no black Martians? It's just tall whiteys and all that. But actually, the Anunnakis were supposed to be black, the first Anunnakis, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they supposed to have brought the weed and beer and all that. They brought all that. But we could talk offline about that one.
That's fascinating. Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you. I know when this is all over, you got the vaccine, you can move around now. But once I get it, we'll catch up, no doubt, get back to work. And, I look forward to seeing any law you want to pass, any fight you got, I'm with you. And I appreciate it. And anytime anything historical happens, they don't like to have people of color on there. This is a platform to showcase you or anybody else you think needs to be showcased or that's doing the work.
That means more than you'll ever know, man. And likewise, and you know how we do, but take care of baby Dusko and
Absolutely.
Queen Rocky, and, I'll let you handle the Rocky and on our other discussion.
I got you, bro. I got you.